This is me, and throughout my entire career so far, from 10 years old all the way up until now, I've had a dream to compete on the ATP Tour and play in all 4 Grand Slams, especially this one, since I live here. Now, after becoming an ATP ranked tennis player, my next goal is to be ranked inside the world's top 1,000 players, and it all starts here in Doha, Qatar, so let's see how I got on.
Ooh, they're a bit heavier. Can do my laces trick. Runner's lace, you basically put the lace through the side, so you've got a little hole there. Put the other lace through here. What it's going to do is it's going to lock in the whole of the ankle. Trust me, when you try this, it actually pulls in this whole part of the back, so you've got almost stability and grip.
So what are you warming up here?
Mainly just a bit of a dynamic warm-up for my back. Still a little bit sore off the flights yesterday, so just getting the kind of the parts of the body moving. Basically just to make me feel like I can actually move without being like an old man. One of the other things this season which I'm focusing on is heart rate monitoring. Essentially what I'm going to be doing is monitoring my heart rate in practice, in matches, and sending it through to my S&C coach, basically just to try and determine like baselines for what my heart rate activity does in training, how we can simulate match environments. It also helps track load and movement load. My coach can see if I'm being lazy, so there's now no excuse.
So first hit on the courts, first tournament of the year. A lot of emotion, very excited for the year to come, a lot of anticipation of playing tournaments and you know, of course improving the ranking, but also learning a lot along the way. And you know, these courts were pretty slow, so definitely was looking to get a feel for them a couple of days before the event. We arrived a little bit before.
Such a rough surface.
These are done. I mean, I'm really praying. New balls, new bodies.
What's the first thing you think about the shoes?
Good stability. I feel like I'm very grounded. They feel a little bit big and a little bit heavy. I think it's just going to be getting used to it. I definitely feel I've got a little bit more grip to the ground.
And this week I also have my coach Paul here with me, which is the first time he's actually come to a tournament since Rafa Nadal Academy last year.
Temperatures are hot. Gonna have to really adapt, stay hydrated, stay fueled up. And definitely good that we got out here a few days early to get used to the conditions, feel the courts. They've just been relayed, so they're super slow, so gonna have to adapt as much as possible. That's the name of the game in tennis. Right guys, so because this is my only pair of shoes, unlike foot doctor Zach, I'm not gonna cut into these. I'm gonna give these an 8. I really like these, they give me good stability. Pretty much no wear and tear after a good 2-hour session on pretty rough courts, so that's a good sign. If you wanna go check out these shoes yourself, there'll be a link in the description. You can go check out Tennis Warehouse. It helps to support the channel, and obviously you can grab anything there. I've got my own player profile where I've got shoes, clothes, rackets. Looking forward to using these in 2025.
Also guys, if you want to see the full review for these shoes, head over to my second channel. There'll be a link in the description where you can go and watch it, along with loads of other cool videos about behind the scenes stuff of my journey and extra cool challenge content that I like filming.
Good day of training. Gonna head to the cafe and get some food. These courts are gonna take a little bit of getting used to. Balls, obviously Dunlops, they start quite slow, then they transition to pretty quick, so we're gonna have to get used to that. But yeah, overall pretty productive day. Site is amazing. There's always practice courts, which is great. Looking forward to competing. I'm ready for the new year. Let's go.
And so the day before match day started off with me pretending like I was asleep, but we all know that I wasn't. And waking up around 8:30 and heading straight to the gym for a gym session before my tennis starts.
Yes guys, so we're in the gym doing a warm-up for today's session. We're starting at 12. We're here an hour and 5 minutes early. Because of this is kind of like an off-season build-up, I'm doing a little bit of a power focus in today's warm-up. So I've got a little program here. They've got an insane gym here. So I'm gonna make the most of it, get this warm-up done, and then head on court. Just one session today, keep it nice and easy. I've got qualies tomorrow, start of the year. Yeah, don't wanna burn myself out too early. Let's jump into it and yeah, see how it goes. So in this workout, we basically got 4 main sections: mobility, which is what we're doing right now, activations, landing mechanics, and power. This usually takes a reasonable amount of time. Plus, I like to do a slightly longer warm-up at the beginning of the day, just because I like to get the body moving a little bit, and also I don't want to do a gym session later if I have a match tomorrow.
So why are you twisting at the bottom instead of just keeping your body straight?
I guess it's like a tennis movement, so you're going down, you're rotating, you're coiling, so you're working on that movement. When you're down, you're driving up like this. So you're basically getting that kind of power in the same way that you generate power in tennis. So it's all well and good going lifting weights, but if you're not translating that to like the same kinetic chains that you're doing on the court, then obviously it's going to be a bit of an ineffective way to train. You might get better, but it's not going to maximize it.
So this session I was actually playing some points. It was the first time that I actually managed to play some points on these courts, and it was definitely a fun experience. Really had to move the ball around pretty well. Took a bit of getting used to. I was playing a very solid player on the other side of the net who was pretty high up in the qualies, I believe, so it was going to be a good test of the level going into this first week.
But I don't think it's like you've got it all wrong. You just aimed in the wrong area. Be more simple. Again, I think that's what happened in the practice set. You just get rattled, and then you try and hit spaces that just don't exist, rather than hit good quality balls into big spaces. You want life to operate at an 8 out of 10. Rarely things operate at an 8 out of 10. Be effective at 5 or 6 out of 10. Be comfortable with managing a 5 or 6 out of 10.
Yes guys, just getting a good stretch in. Finished my session for the day. Legs were feeling pretty gone. Gonna do some sauna later, recovery. Yeah, excited about tomorrow. Yes guys, so in the sauna now, getting some good recovery. I'm gonna do, well, until this is finished, 10-15 minutes. Not gonna do too long, otherwise, I'm gonna be like totally dead. This helps to kind of replenish the blood flow. You feel really, really good the next day. Maybe not the rest of the day, but the next day you feel super good. So those are kind of my 3 main things that I'll try and do the day before matches to, aid my recovery. And then, yeah, gonna take a look at the draw later and see what I get, and yeah, go get a first win in the season. Let's go. They even got raw honey. Pretty cool. Just always just hits different in the mornings.
Omelette and the scrambled eggs.
So taste test.
Decent.
Oh, that's so good. Hi guys, so here we are, first match of the season. I'm apprehensive, I'm nervous, but also I'm excited. I want to play the right way. I want to play the way that's going to allow me to improve. That's going to be my tactics going into it, having a good mindset, no negative self-talk, just positive. I'm going to suffer out there on the court, but I just have to enjoy that, embrace it, and yeah, go and fight for the first win of the season. Let's go make it happen.
In my first match of the year, I'm to play Mischker, an 18-year-old player who reached a respectable ranking of 110 in the world at the end of the 2024 junior rankings. He's also now ranked in the ITF Pro rankings for men's, and he's a lefty, which made it a quite interesting matchup. Let's see how I got on. Also guys, we're on the road to 250,000 subscribers, so if you enjoy this content, then please go and smash that subscribe button. So starting off, you can see here we are under the floodlights. They always started at 2 or 3 p.m. in the afternoon here in Doha. Not quite sure why, maybe it was heat, but overall it wasn't that hot. But I liked it. It was kind of giving Batman vibes. So starting off this first round qualies match here, these courts were super slow. They have an ATP, I think it was men's 500 coming up, so they just resurfaced them. It was actually pretty sick that we were playing on a stadium court, which you don't get to do every single day in the ITF qualies, but I managed to pick up an early break, which was great for the confidence. Really looking to do what I do best, kind of come forwards, utilize the fact that, on the volley I feel pretty comfortable, and, everything seemed pretty good, pretty oiled, and yeah, I was ready to, fight and try and, go ahead in this first set. Of course, one thing when you're playing against a lefty is that swinger out to the backhand, and those bounces and those way the ball is moving is obviously not something that I've been practicing against, so it took a little bit of getting used to. I think against lefties they're always going to curl it into the backhand of a righty, so you always have to almost take an extra step to that side. And it's not only that, it's also the way that the ball comes into you, so you've got to almost hit more up and through the ball, and you've got to take it a little bit earlier out in front to make sure that you can kind of compensate for that movement on the ball. So, just talking to my coach before the match about a little bit of those things that I've got to make sure that I'm taking care of. But as you can see here, 3-1 up in this set, really just hustling, trying to win these points. And, as you can see, we get a juice point here, another chance potentially to go up a double break. And my opponent, moving the ball well, moving the ball into the spaces. It was a clear sign that whenever I was dropping the ball short, my opponent was, being aggressive and attacking. So had to make sure that I was being very aggressive towards the midpoint of these rallies, but also on defense, really not give him too many easy balls, which will build his confidence. I'd almost rather go for a trickier shot and miss, as opposed to give him that kind of short ball that he can hit 3-4 times to give him a lot of confidence. There I come into the net, great pass from my opponent there. I think a little bit too long of a rally, but again, doing the right thing here, coming to the net on that 30 love point, really crucial to pick your spots and know what you do well. And coming forwards was working very well for me here at the beginning, as you can see, getting a couple of good points in and managing to fight my way back in this game, which could turn out to be crucial in the bigger scheme of this match. Great service hold for me there to go 4-2 up. And watching myself back, it's quite evident that I'm a lot more consistent, especially off the backhand side. I'd like to see me doing a little bit more with the ball, and that's something kind of I've been working on in practice. Now, obviously coming off a kind of Christmas period without really a lot of time for an off season. Obviously you saw me playing tournaments in South Africa in December last year. I felt that physically I could make a couple of improvements and a few little tweaks here and there. So that's definitely going to be something that I'm working on after this kind of tournament block, to really kind of knuckle down on those areas, because we know how important physicality is, in the game. Now, one thing I also kind of tend to think about is, just because it's the beginning of the year, it's a new season, that doesn't mean that things will change massively. I understand that suddenly I'm not going to start winning tournaments just because it's a new year. You have to manage your expectations in the sense of, obviously, you're looking to optimistically have a good start and do well. But the other thing I would also say is just to be okay with improvement. I think a lot of the areas which I watch myself back now, I'm a lot more clinical. I've seen a lot of more areas where I've improved. And I think that to also begin the year is a much more positive thing than looking at purely from a results perspective. Now, as you can see here, going 5-2 up, winning the first set, that's super confident, great start against a solid opponent. Now, I definitely think that watching myself back now, I was being a lot more clinical in these rallies. My backhand was a lot more solid. I think all of those areas really were working really well. So those are things that, watching myself back now, I'm pretty happy with. And I think that I would encourage a lot of you guys, if you're wanting to improve your tennis game, to record your matches, because it's so easy and blatant to see the areas where you can improve, where you have improved, and you can also show it to a coach, other players, to get feedback on it. I just think it's one of the best ways that you can actually improve your game and speed up that process of fixing little things that you might not notice when you're actually on the court. But anyways, back to the tennis here. Again, early break here at 2-1 in the second set. It's all about the hustle. Can't quite get to that last ball, but again, really trying to make sure that I don't kind of let my opponent back into these service games at the beginning of this set, because they can be very dangerous and make your life a lot trickier than they might have to be. Now, I definitely thought that ball was wide. Gonna need a slow-mo replay with some people in the comments, let me know. But nonetheless, still fighting in this point to try and somehow dig out the win, as this is a pretty big point if I can get it on my side of the scoreboard. And just missing wide. Getting a little bit frustrated with the umpire, because when you kind of think the ball's out and you stop it, it kind of affects you. But the most important thing when you have, let's say bad calls or a bad point, is the recovery, the response. And this game was all about the response from me, and I made sure to say that out loud to myself and positively reinforce how important that game was. And now it's all about hustling to try and win this match. And we take it, and we're through to the second round of qualies.
Yes guys, let's go, come on. First win of the season. Really, just stay disciplined, stay consistent. It was a bit of a grind out there, these courts are pretty slow, but overall I was very happy with my performance, mixed up the serve super well. The view here at night, I'll show you, is unbelievable. You can see the setting, with the skyscrapers and stuff, so I was really enjoying that as well. Gonna do some stretching now, a little bit of a cool down, get some dinner, chill, and then yeah, get going again tomorrow. Let's qualify, first tournament of the year, first main draw. I like the sound of that. So this week, for the first time ever, my brother Lucien is actually filming me. He's been the one behind the camera asking the questions. He doesn't travel with me all the time. And now for some of you who don't know, Lucien's a type 1 diabetic, obviously meaning he has to have his insulin and all of that type of stuff on him at all times. So we get to practice and we're in the gym warming up, and I just hear Lucien say to me, where's my stuff? So we all go into a panic. I start running to the bus where we just came off, and it ended up being on the bus. He left it on the bus. Yeah, that was a little funny incident, which obviously you guys didn't see before, you know, we went on court to warm up this morning. Yeah, I think it's great having Lucian at these events. He really helps me mentally. He reads the game really well, even though he doesn't play at the moment. He's been out with a little bit of a wrist injury. Yet to see if he wants to come back to professional tennis, but it's great to have him at the event, and yeah, he provides some entertainment, let's just say it like that, and hopefully he might be in some content very soon as well, so go put a like on the video if you want to see Lucian in some content.
Got my stringing certificate, go collect my racket.
Hi, I'll just give this to you. Yes guys, so getting ready for my match now. Yeah, I'm super excited. I've got a good feeling. I'm just going to go out, battle at every single point, and the aim's just going to be go out there, absolutely just compete, give it my best, and get the win. Let's go.
My opponent that I'd have to beat to qualify was Alp Horoz, a Turkish player who was ranked 189 in the world in juniors back in 2013, basically when I was 10 years old. And he's now 29 years old and mounting a comeback. He's currently ranked around 1500 in the world, so it'll be a good test of my level at the beginning of the year. Now, the final round of qualies, playing an experienced Turkish player. You never really know what to expect. You know, he's obviously had a lot of time on court in his career, let's just say it like that. But I felt like I started pretty well. This time it wasn't under the lights. I suspected that we would be towards the end of this match since we kind of started around 3 p.m. But good start here, you know, early chance to break, you know, really utilising that forehand side and, you know, just consistent on that backhand. Would have liked to see a little bit more depth, but getting that early break gave a lot of confidence early on in this match. I really like when we're playing with the new balls. I feel like my shots really have a lot of, you know, pop on them. Leaving that ball was super costly here because, you know, I'll go break point down, not quite doing enough with the volley and giving my opponent the break back straight away. That was a little bit costly. You know, watching that back in hindsight was a great chance to kind of solidify that 3-love lead. And now it became a little bit of a dogfight here in this early stages of the match. No one really wanted to give an inch. We both wanted to show that we're both going to be consistent, make a lot of balls, and it's going to be about who can, you know, penetrate their opponent's armour. You know, find some weaknesses, find some gaps, and you know, win some points. Some good play there to go 3-2 up, and it's already getting pretty dark. Pretty cool sunset, as you can see. But again here, juice point here at 3-2 is a crucial opportunity. Going with the pass and taking a break point opportunity here once again in this opening stage of this first set. And I think my opponent was really good at moving the ball around. He was super consistent. And again here, as you can see, going with the lob but not quite giving it enough. There was a massive wind in my direction. So I was hitting against the wind on this side and you're with the wind on the other side. Obviously, you know, wind's the same for both players. There's no point complaining about it. You can't change anything about it. But it was pretty prevalent, and you had to kind of change your game style based on which side you were in. It almost felt like when you're down this side, you hit the ball as hard as you can, like that. It felt like the ball was going miles out, but it lands in the service box. So it's kind of down to the person on the other side to try and be aggressive. And as you can see, it's very easy to kind of get in a little bit of a defensive mindset from this side and try and overplay like that. And my opponent goes kind of 5-3 up at the beginning of this set. Me not doing a great job of actually adjusting kind of to the conditions, which, as you can see, the ball's kind of swirling everywhere. But I do break back, I hold serve, and now is my chance to break back to try and you know, extend and prolong this first set and potentially win it. And I get the break, and instantly straight away my opponent seizes an opportunity here to break back. Now that's really painful when you've done a lot of the work and your opponent pretty quickly breaks back. I felt like my defense just wasn't doing enough against him. I do come to the net a lot in this game, but a 30-year point here is absolutely critical. My opponent playing a fair point, credit where credit's due there, to, you know, take that break point chance, set point chance. I go with the lob, and with the wind, the ball just flies way more than I thought it would. I thought that was a pretty decent lob, Turns out not to be, and I lose the first set. I was pretty disappointed actually that I'd lost the first set. I felt like I should be in a bit more of a driving seat, especially with the way that I started. But it's kind of now about regrouping, refocusing, trying to find a way to kind of get back into this match. You know, whether you lose the set, win the set, the second set is the one that you really, you know, want to win, whether you lost the first or you won the first. But again, my opponent finding ways of making my life tricky, making my life difficult. A couple of shots didn't quite feel like I was super confident on, but I was very confident at coming forward to the net. Now this was something I was trying to do more and more and more. My opponent, as soon as he got a short ball, would usually kind of come in. So I kind of just was bearing that in mind sometimes. A couple of shots like that, just absolutely dreadful. But yeah, not much to say. Definitely areas that maybe it's just concentration on a couple of those shots. But again, chances here in this game to go kind of 3-2, keep myself in it. And a 30-all chance here was absolutely crucial. Once again, getting in with that forehand cross, letting out a bit of emotion there. Absolutely huge point, setting myself up here for a break point chance. One other thing I would say, just as watching kind of this match back, it looks so scrappy. I think it was, you know, a little bit of the win, tightness from both of us. It was just an absolute dogfight of a match. Now, sometimes tennis matches aren't the prettiest, you know, but sometimes you just got to win ugly. Sometimes you just got to win. You know, you're not going to play a 7, 8, 9 out of 10 every single day. And this day I didn't feel like I was playing it either, but just finding a way to win was my main focus, being competitive, competing out there on the court and just trying to get it done. Great break back there, and now it's 4-all. It's all to play for in this set. I think I did a pretty good job digging myself out of a little bit of an emotional hole after losing that first set and going down the break. But once again, my opponent getting chances on my serve. It's just a bit too regular of an occurrence. I think my opponent breaking. Definitely need to kind of work on my spot serving, percentage serving, because it can't be that my opponent's breaking me this many times. That's kind of poor from me, and that's why I'm in the position I am in this match. I don't think actually in the points there's much kind of wrong with what I was doing. I was pretty consistent, moving the ball well, but just not getting enough free points on serve I think was costing me a little bit. I do go up 6-5 though in this second set. I'm up with a chance here. Again, coming forwards to the net. My opponent putting in not quite good enough lob, and this juice point here at 6-5 is massive, because it would set up a set point, but big balls from my opponent there, and you know, unfortunately shanking that ball, taking us to a second set tiebreak, and now it's all to play for. Coming forward to the net once again, paying off. It's definitely a strategy which was working well, but again here not quite doing enough, and now 3-all. It's all to play for, and I'll let you guys watch. I think a mixture of nerves and fatigue there at 7-6, really causing the racket head to slow down. We'd already been playing for over 2.5 hours, just for context. And watching this back now I feel tight watching it. Usually I don't speak to the camera right after my matches because I'm literally just too off. I think that was a match where the conditions weren't favourable for either of us. I didn't adapt very well, and I pushed a bit too much, got sucked into the wrong habits, and that's the reason I lost. I didn't back myself in the key moments, fought all the way back, and then just handed it to him on a silver platter. You do so much work in the match, you fight back, and then you just give it to him. I think that hurts more than anything, is when you feel like you're the better player on the court. You feel like you're the one that should be winning. And it just isn't happening for whatever reason. And I felt like that out there on the court today. Credit where credit's due, my opponent did a great job.
Just after I finished my match, there are a couple of you guys, you know who you are, waiting outside the court for me, watching me yap on this video. It really made me think about the bigger picture. You know, life isn't just all about a tennis match. It's so much more than that. And you know, to come out here at 8 p.m. on a Tuesday or Monday, just sit and watch and really get engaged, support. I just really appreciate that. The fact that some of you guys are willing to come out here and support really means a lot to me, to be honest. And it makes me, feel like, these videos and stuff makes an impact, to a lot of people. And sometimes it's hard to see that because all I'm talking to is my phone all the time, or a camera, So it's nice to see some people behind the video that, you guys are there, you guys support, the channel and what we're doing, and the journey, but most of all each other. Building a community of tennis players that, wants to thrive and, enjoy cool tennis content, that type of stuff. So yeah, no, I'm really appreciative, and it's kind of boosted my spirit a little bit from kind of ultra depression to, get on with it a little bit. So yeah, a little bit of an insight there from me, but waiting for the bus now.
So guys, that was my first tournament week of the year, and thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. One thing before you do go, I really appreciate every single one of you that watches these videos, and the best way that you can give back to the channel is by subscribing. So if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.